Tonight's episode of the 31st Lap podcast is brought to you by Demico, Chrysler, Dodge Jeep, and Ram, serving the Finger Lakes since 1963. And DirtTrackDigest.com. If it's on dirt, it's on Dirt Track Digest.
This is the 31st Lap podcast, recorded live in the studios of FingerLakes1.com in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now, your hosts, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 2016 Guererri Racing Party. Joining me at the table, we have Matt and Nick Guererri here. About 200 people or more expected to be pouring into the Benevolent Protective Order of the Elks here in Seneca Falls, New York. Third year for the party. Last year, attendance climbed up over 170 people. We see Paul Guererri making a cameo, slightly off camera. Guys, thanks a lot for having us out here again. This edition of the 31st Lap Live being presented by Tradition Chevrolet, as we've been talking about all week. You guys were excited about this. You got expectations for a huge turnout. Obviously, there's going to be at least 1 million people here because you've made 80 pounds of meatballs. How's the turnout been so far?
It's been good so far. I mean, the party is supposed to start at 6, and we had quite a bit before 6 o'clock. So I think we're in for a big crowd tonight. You
know, how'd the setup go? I know they made you do most of the setup by yourself.
Yeah, I set up most of the tables and chairs, and everyone sat and watched me. So that's how it goes every year.
How important is it for a race team? I know we talked a little bit about how the season, it's not too far away, obviously. We're looking at like 4 weeks away. We're going to start having races and laps being turned. Canandaigua Motorsports Park was supposed to have an enduro today in conjunction with their snowcross event. That's already been scrapped due to the lack of snow. The enduro's been rescheduled for May the 14th. But how important are these shows in terms of getting the team up and going? I mean, you've got 4 cars to get ready, and none of them at this point are ready.
I mean, it's always a struggle. We try to get down there early to get the cars done, and no one really finds an ambition until it starts getting about a month away, and then everyone scrambles, and Everyone's down there until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning every night until racing starts. But every year you try to get down there early, and it doesn't really happen that way. But it's exciting to see the racers and stuff come to the party and get back into the swing of things and get talking with everybody and see what their plans are and how far along they are, and get you excited for the race season.
I noticed Asylum Motorsports was pretty well represented with all their team members here. Daryl Barrett making the trip in. Rich Swarthouse out there. Kevin Ridley coming in. Is the Sportsman group as closely knit as it seems like they are at Canandaigua? I mean, the racing's typically pretty clean. You don't see a lot of the fist fight nonsense and stuff like that you might see in some of the lower classes. And especially with the introduction of the crate motor program, it seems like everybody's been, I don't know if there's a correlation at all, but it seems like everybody's more inclined to get along.
Yeah, it definitely is, especially at Canandaigua. The guys that race there have been there forever. I mean, there's a lot of veterans there, a lot of rookies coming up, and everybody's willing to help. And I mean, just in our little corner alone down there, we've been there, for years, and everybody gets along. Everybody's friends. Everybody knows someone willing to pitch in a helping hand. And you're right, there's a lot of ball busting that goes on because it's a good time, and then it carries over to on the track. I mean, you race with respect on the racetrack, and there's usually not that many run-ins. I mean, everybody has a skirmish once in a while, but overall it's good racing and good fun, and when we have a chance to get together like we do here at the party outside the racetrack, it's always fun because once the season starts, it's kind of hustling, and you're into the track, out of the track, getting ready for the next race, and you don't really get to spend time with sponsors and different family and people that come into the track and help you out. And just a good time to get everybody together before the season starts.
How many cars actually come out of your stable? Because there's about every other finish position. There's a Guererri at Canandaigua, if it's in relation to the sportsman class.
Oh, we got Nick and I. We got Paul.
Right.
Kevin Ridley, he works with us out of our shop. Frankie, our cousin Frankie, he's running late models now, the crate class at Canandaigua, so he comes with us.
Now that's the car that I see parked outside because you don't allow it inside. Right.
It depends how he is that week. Sometimes it's outside, sometimes it's inside. If he's going to buy us dinner, he brings it inside.
If he has a rough week, it normally stays on his trailer until about Wednesday or Thursday. Then he goes down and tinkers with it a little bit. But if he top 5, top 10, he normally has it in there Sunday, washing it, letting everyone know that he ran good before.
And then it's just them, or have you got other cars that are coming out of that shop as well?
It's just in our race shop in Waterloo is Nick and I, Kevin and Frankie out of our race shop.
Okay.
We can't really fit any more cars. We struggle as it is to have just those cars in there, but Paul works out of his garage right at his house, which is easier for him. He's got kids and the family thing going on, so it's a lot easier for him.
Sure. And was Gary Tompkins' car in your shop for a short time last year?
Yeah, Gary was there before Frank was there. He worked with us for about a year and a half out of our shop, and then he got in with Dave Rauscher, so he moved out and Frank moved in. So it's a good time. There's always helping hands around when you need them because there's so many cars there. I mean, sometimes it gets a little hectic when you're racing a couple nights a week, but we make it work.
Now, are you still working with Matt Shepard as well?
Yeah, I try to as much as I can. I went down to Florida with him, and he had a good week down there. You learn a lot of good things from them people, and I ask questions as much as I can, which might get annoying after a while, but it's always good to get the knowledge that them guys have with Randy Kosacki and Shepard and all them guys. It's good to have them people helping out.
Will they filter the information that they give you when you ask a question? The answer that they give you, is it filtered so that you can apply it to a sportsman car, or do they give you the answer based on a modified setup and then you have to scale it back so that it fits your application?
Normally I'll ask him, you think this will work, or you do this, would that, help me out in my car? And, he'll tell me as much as he can to point me in the right direction, what he thinks. I mean, obviously they got a ton more horsepower than our cars do, so it's hard for him to make an adjustment on his car and tell me if it'll work on my crate motor, which has a quarter of the power. But
sure,
for the most part, he tries to figure it out if it'll work on a crate or not, but it's very helpful.
I think anytime you get input from Matt Shepard on anything, even if it's making a paper crane, it'd be valuable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the best part of advice from those guys is they're honest. Once you get to know those guys, and they'll give it to you straight up. They'll tell you, that's not going to work, or you're stupid for doing that, or you should do this or that. And they'll give it to you straight up. A lot of the modifieds guys. I mean, we looked to Gary when he worked out of our shop. We still talk to Gary a lot, and like you said, Matt and Justin Harris, any of those guys, they'll tell you how it is and try to help. They'll be honest about it.
With this many brothers and this many family members packed into the same garage, how intense is it by about the end of July?
Last year was pretty good. Fortunately, I had 2 wins last year, and Frank actually got a win. Kevin had a couple, and
I had none.
Nick was the only one in the shop that didn't have one, so it kind of sucked for him because he kind of got wrapped on a lot in the shop. But it's all a lot of fun.
But that kind of stuff turns around, doesn't it? It comes in cycles. I mean, next year you could go on fire and everybody else would be on the dry spell.
Yeah, it definitely does. And it goes week to week. I mean, we carried it right through the RC car racing season. Same kind of thing. You have a good run, the rest of them hear about it. You have a bad run, you're going to hear about it all week long. So that runs through your head out there on the track. As soon as you get out of that car, you got to let them have it because the next week could be different.
I saw Anthony picking up a win at Twisted this week.
Yeah, it was exciting to see him finally get a win. He gets pumped up about the RC car racing, and he didn't get into the racing deal like us, but he's into the RC deal. So
I think he
cool.
runs more RC car races than I run with my regular sportsman car.
How many races have you got scheduled this year?
I'm not too sure. For now, we're going to run Canandaigua Weekly on Saturday.
I was asking RC cars.
RC cars? I don't.
No, Canandaigua.
I haven't really been into the RC car. I mean, it's fun.
In terms
got
of
so much still going on, but
right. In terms of your race schedule, you're talking
Yeah.
about running Canandaigua on a regular basis, obviously. But I mean, there's a lot of cool things that are going on with Outlaw. There's some good stuff going on with the sportsman classes. There's a couple different Friday night options actually. So what are you looking at doing next year?
Canandaigua for sure. All the weed sport shows for sure. We're going to support them. Just depends on when the races are scheduled and what time. It's hard with a work schedule, but probably some Brewerton shows, Utica Rome shows, and Black Rock shows. Just try to keep it local, and we'll see how it goes. If we run good, then hopefully we get to more races, but it all depends.
Sure. Outlaw Speedway, formerly Black Rock Speedway. The whole name change. A lot of exciting things changing down there with Tyler Seary taking command of that track. Remarkable payouts. Now the Insinger Performance program put together. If you can win all 3 of the highlight races for the modifieds, you can come home with an extra $25,000. Not too bad of a purse there for the big block guys. turning attention back to the Sportsman with your car, what's your plan? Kind of the same thing?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. A little bit different because I can make my own schedule at work, so I can get off. I run Canandaigua on Saturday nights. Going to run the Grit North series, hit as much as the South as we can. I can't commit to all of those because it's just too much to do all of them. But I'll also be at all the Weedsport shows. So Canandaigua Weedsport for sure, Grit North, whatever we can hit for the South, and any of the specials down at Outlaw. I know they have 3 or 4 grit races, so we'll be there for those. And like you said, it's pretty awesome what they're doing down there. And it's nice to see that place get turned around.
More changes on the horizon for a couple of racetracks here in your home area with the chance with the Grit Series going back to Paradise.
Yeah, that'll be cool. And the scheduling conflict, I don't know, it's a little rough with the Grit Series, so hopefully everything works out and we can work around that because we've had some practice laps there and watched Paul run a lot of races there when we were younger. So
you've had a lot of practice laps there. I mean, getting your cars over there on a Wednesday night. That's for what, 2-3 years now.
Yeah, that's a cool place. I mean, if you need a little test and tune, or you need a carburetor issue figured out, or something like that, it's a good place to go. And I think it's a good place to learn. Someone just starting out in a sportsman class, it's perfect to get out there with 1 or 2 other cars on the track and learn it.
New motor program in place for you this year.
Yeah, we went a little different direction this year. We struggled most last year chasing it, and finally figured it out, made some changes. New engine, so we're looking for good things this year.
Who's doing your motors now?
Oh, it's just a crate engine, so no one really does them. I didn't send it out
we
to
had
the dyno or anything.
We had a talk there before we got on here, and we were talking about one of the motors came and the pistons were a bit too tight for what the cylinder walls are. Other than that, it seems like the motor program for you guys in terms of getting the crate motors, and nobody necessarily going through them, I know, because they're sealed. But you guys have had some pretty good luck.
Yeah, we've had really good luck. I mean, just out of the box bone stock, and really we haven't dynoed anything until last year. And last year we went a different direction and went with a known engine builder to do dyno work and things like that. And we struggled, and you live and learn, I guess. And we went back to our old way of doing things right out of our shop, and we're gonna put it in and let it go and hope for good things.
So honestly, how relieved are you is that to have Paul not even in your shop, so you can just focus on your stuff instead of having to hear about how great he is as a sportsman driver?
Honestly, it kind of sucks. When my first year racing, I actually worked out of Paul's garage with him for the first 2 years of racing, and it was probably the most fun I ever had.
Yeah.
Going out there every week working on the car. And
I don't know if you're noticing, he keeps peeking over here. like he was so adamant that he did not want to come on here yet. He hasn't been able to stop looking at you two when you say
he's not an interview guy, but I'm sure we'll get him on. But it's good. He's got a lot of knowledge. He's always willing to share, and to be able to beat him on the track is an accomplishment. Since how the races that he's won at Canandaigua and everywhere else, he's been doing it a long time. So for him to help us out and be able to beat him on the track, it feels good to be able to do that.
We've talked a lot about the improvements to the division with the crate motor and how it's opened the door for so many drivers to come in and give them the opportunity to be competitive. But at the same time, how did it change what you were able to do with the car in terms of the setup and actually being able to drive it? Did it make it easier to drive? Did it make it harder to drive? Did it make your gearing choices more difficult to make? I know you had the chip limiter in there, so you can only hit so many RPM, so you've got to really be specific on when you max that thing out. How did it change that aspect of it?
That's kind of a tough question for me because I never ran the open motor. I got right into the crate, so I really wouldn't know the difference between the open and the crate. But if it wasn't for the crate motor, I probably wouldn't be able to have started racing when I did because
Sure.
It's affordable now and it's cheap where I could do it, and you can buy a lot of used parts off big block guys and go out and be able to be competitive. So it's hard to say about the open motors to the crate, but I'm glad they went to the crate so I can afford to race, which
Right.
I know a lot of people can vouch for it also.
Are the cars hard to drive?
Yeah, they're difficult. Every track's different, and you get so used to Canandaigua, it's a big track, and you go somewhere like Brewerton, and it's totally different to what you're used to. So,
Is it fair to say that Canandaigua is a forgiving track? Given that it's so big, you can make a mistake on Canandaigua's layout and not be nearly as penalized, as not as high a price to pay as if you were someplace that's a little bit tighter?
Yeah, probably. I would say it is a little bit more forgiving. Having room, not getting in a wreck, getting into the wall, you have time to time to look ahead and get out of the way. But in the same aspect, it's a big momentum track too. So if you lose momentum, to miss a wreck or something like that, you're going to be 4, 5, 6 car lengths back. So you got to keep your momentum up and stay smooth. Otherwise, you're going to drop back, and it's hard to make up time.
Hear the band warming up here in the background. Going to be with you for probably an hour or so here from the Guererri party at the Elks Lodge in Seneca Falls. Hanging out here with Nick and Matt Guererri, a couple of the co-hosts of the party. This party, it's been promoted pretty well on Facebook. And the turnout, I can't believe the number of people that keep more and more people pouring in. Is getting more and more full. But the food duties fell back on your family, as I understand. You guys were pretty busy last night.
Yeah, every year. It gets bigger and bigger. And Paul's had parties back, 15 years, maybe even more than that. We've had a party every single year, and every year it just gets bigger and bigger with different racers coming in and family. And some of these guys we just see once a year. They come around, and we'll see them at the track once in a while in passing, but that's about it. So it's pretty awesome, and it's a family deal with the food. We do all the homemade ziti and meatballs, and there's no frozen stuff here. So we made over 1,000 homemade meatballs last night. So it's a big family effort. It's a good time, and we look forward to it every year.
That's unbelievable. You're putting a lot of time and effort into putting this thing together, but the work's obviously paying off. A lot of drivers outside of your division that have shown up here. We've got, like we mentioned, Rich Swarthout here. I know we're playing a little bit of Tag the Driver. When you guys get out of here, the next pairing is going to come in.
I've been looking as they walk by, see who we can get up
see who
here.
you're gonna.
We got them pointed out. We're going to go get them.
Eldon Payne hanging around here as well, and
Daryl Ruggles has snuck by here.
Where'd Daryl go? I didn't see him.
He's over there. Mike Weld.
Excellent. Well, that's Mike Menudo or Mark?
It's Mark.
Yeah, Mark's over there.
His dad Mike should be here. He's coming.
I thought Mike was. I thought I saw him earlier, but I missed him.
There's Ridley, Barrett, and Hendershot here in front of us at the table talking about illegal crate engines.
We had Ray Hendershot on the show here a year ago maybe 2 years ago now when he started launching his return to racing and stuff. It was great to see him come up with a win in that new Legends division, and he kept after it. I was a little concerned that maybe he would just back out of it and pull out, but it was fantastic to see that.
He's been getting better and better every year. With his health issues and stuff.
Yeah, he knocked down a top 5 this year too, so that was pretty exciting. I think
a big
seeing
deal for
him
him.
knock down a top 5 was better than me getting a win. Just to seeing the things that Ray goes through, and he's just positive about everything. It's awesome to have him back there with us.
You got to have that outlook when you go through what he's gone through. You have to have positive, and he's been able to epitomize that for sure. In terms of getting on the tour, you talked a little bit about the Grit Series. What do you guys think about that? The way that this thing has come together, you guys have pledged support to it. I'm hearing that possibly we'll see some of the Grit Tour representatives here through the course of the evening. How about the momentum that series has been able to gain in such a short amount of time?
I think it's awesome. We followed it the last couple years, and it's great for us because it's really the only series that we have that's local. Dirt Car has a series, but 75% of those races are in Canada, and it's tough. To travel that far, like I said, I can make my own schedule, but I can't do that for my guys, and it's hard to get time off of work during the week for those guys, and a lot of the schedules, were based around holidays and things like that, and people have families and stuff like that. So the Grit Series is nice for us because it's close. There's a lot of tracks within 2 hours of us. Payout is great. Prizes are great, and it's fun getting on the road, traveling around with some different guys and learning new tracks.
What's the minimum number of people that you need in your pits to have a decent night, to have a night with as few pit side headaches as possible?
I'd say it depends on their experience, but if you had 2 guys that knew what they were doing, I think you can get away with 2 guys. If something big happens, like I said, you travel around with a bunch of your buddies racing, so if someone's short on crew, there's always someone that'll step up. But if you have 2 guys solid that are in the shop with you, know what's going on, setup-wise, small repairs, I think you'd be set with 2.
You agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. If you got, everywhere you go, you got friends that you're racing with, and their crew is always willing to help out everybody else. So as long as you get your car there, I'm sure there's always going to be people in the pits to help you out. But as long as you got a couple guys that know the basics, and it's not too bad.
It would have seemed like it was a higher number to me. 2 just seems like you're getting out of the car and you're the one that's doing the tire changes while somebody's filling the fuel tank and the other guy's checking the shocks.
Well, you're always hoping. You're not hoping for pit stops when you go to these races. So,
long as you bring it into the pits, you're still adjusting things and things along those lines. If you catch a flat tire or something along those lines,
yeah. I think once you get, that's where the experience comes into play. Because if you're racing every night, once a week or twice a week, you get into a rhythm. This is your job. You do tires, air pressures. Another guy does fuel. It just has to be organized. If it's organized, I think you can easily get down 2 guys.
You're pretty diligent with the maintenance schedule at the shop itself in terms of, on Monday we do this, Tuesday we do this, Wednesday we do this, just so that you can keep that
Absolutely
rhythm up?
not. No, it's one day you go down there on a Monday, there might be 3 people there. You go Monday the next week, and there's 60 people there. And
yeah,
it all depends on their work schedule and who feels like leaving the house that night. But
it's tough with everybody's families and, like you said, work schedule and sometimes you show up down there to wash your car and somebody else is using the pressure washer and you work on something else that night, but we make it work.
I think people are almost misled sometimes when you look at some of these top tier teams that come in and the cars look like they're fresh every week, and they assume that there's more maintenance that's done to it, and there's more regimented schedule, and some of the guys that we've talked to have said the same thing that you do. It's like, whatever we get to on Monday, we get to on Monday, and whatever was left over on Thursday, we finish on Thursday.
Yeah, as long as it gets done. I mean, you know what's got to be done to your car every week, and sometimes it comes down to Saturday night because there's life gets in the way sometime of racing. So
there's been weeks last week or last year during the race season, you get frustrated on a Saturday night, you didn't run good a couple weeks in a row, and you get back to the shop and you don't want to go down to the shop and work on it because you feel down and out, but you get down there on Saturday and there's 15 people down there helping you, trying to get your car done that you didn't do all week, but you get one good run in there, it normally turns things around for you, but it depends on the week that you have. And you go out and win one week, and you're going to go out there Sunday morning and wash your car, you're feeling good about yourself. You
right.
Go out and run 15th, and you don't want to go down there and look at your car again because you're frustrated. But
what you're talking about going down there, how about the bragging rights?
Oh, it's great. For me, it was good last year. The year before, sucks. You're running 5th and 6th, and them guys are running 3rd and 2nd and winning. And so not often do I get to beat Paul and Nick and Kevin and them guys, but when I do or pass them on the track, I try to let them hear about it as much as I can before the next week because normally it don't happen very often.
But running 5th or 6th at some place like Canandaigua with as strong as a field as they have, I don't think that's big picture, I don't think that's too awful bad.
No, it's not. I mean, there's the field at Canandaigua is so strong. You're on top 10 there, you're doing good. I mean, you go to, and it shows going to different tracks around the area. You run there, and you can tell. I mean, you run 3rd or 2nd, you're used to running against 15 guys that can win any night at Canandaigua. Mm-hmm. So running against a tough field every week at Canandaigua, I mean, to me, I think it helps you when you go to other tracks that the competition's not so good at.
Gotcha. You agree with that?
Same exact thing. I think the more you race, obviously the better you're going to be. So if you can race, Canandaigua weekly and then hit your series, like you said, you know your car better, you know what adjustments you need to make, and when you're running against the competition at Canandaigua, that's the best you're going to run against anywhere. So anytime you can beat Marcaccelli and Paul and those guys, Ridley, anybody that's ran Canandaigua for a long time, you're doing something if you finish in the top 5.
Tall order right there to get past Marcaccelli. He had a great year last year.
Yeah, he's been fast everywhere. Him and Rocky were on top of their game last year, the best 2.
How's Rocky doing anyway?
He's actually doing good. I talked to him earlier today. He had his benefit party today. They had a really big turnout, so hopefully he can get back.
Awesome.
Maybe not April, but mid-season he'll be back running with us, I bet.
It's good to hear. Very good to hear. I know he's been going through some challenges, and the benefit party, to hear that it had a good turnout, that's excellent. Who at this point is the furthest along in terms of getting their car ready? I know we talked a little bit about that a minute ago. You said basically what's done on your car is it's got a body, it's got a motor, and the rest of it's still in boxes.
Yeah, well, the motor's the next thing we have to put in. We have to put in the engine, but everything else is together.
Okay.
Just have to get the body back from lettering, button up a couple things. We'll be ready in a couple weeks, but I think Kevin's probably the furthest along.
Yeah.
He put a car together, toward the end of last year, so he didn't have to rip everything apart. So.
Body looks good, by the way.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
It looks real good. And you similar spot? Or
not so much. I got a bare frame. I put the brake reservoirs on the other night, and then I decided to go home and watch college basketball. So I got a bare frame with brake reservoirs on. That's about as far as I've gotten so far.
Right,
so
well,
we got some work to do the next couple weeks.
You got some work to do.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Hoping once everybody else's car is done, they'll all start wandering over to my side of the shop. And
Really, it's not a bad strategy. If you just kind of wait that out, eventually they'll probably just do it all for you.
yeah, which normally every year then we get 2 days before racing starts, the race night, and we got 14 people all working on the same car because it's not done yet. But
Are you somebody who has to have a lot of control over your car, a lot of say in what's done and what's adjusted? Because I know just my personality, I don't have a race car, but I don't know if I could be comfortable. And just take nothing against. This is nothing against the confidence level that you have in the people around you. I just know that I have to make sure that everything is checked over. Like, we set this stuff up, nobody else that comes with us touches it. Just because I got to go through every last piece and make sure it works that way. If something goes wrong, it's on me.
Most
you
of the guys
seem so much more relaxed about this.
Most of the guys that work on the car, you trust them all, and you trust that they know what they're doing. And I mean, you get to the track, and my dad's worked on my uncle's car for 100 years, it seems like, and they won a lot of races, so you trust that they're going to make adjustments on your car that are going to make you better. And I've only been doing it a couple years, so it's good to listen to see what they say, and you trust the people around you pretty much.
It's not trust. It's I believe it's OCD is how they diagnose it.
Yeah, some people worse than others. When it comes down to it, it is your car. If that thing breaks on the track, it comes down to you. No matter who touched it, it's their responsibility.
It's admirable. I wish I had that same.
And we got Paul over here
mentality.
working again. He's ready.
Does he?
He's
Okay.
ready.
He's been itching.
All
I
right.
think Barrett was looking over here. He wants to come up too, so I'm going to
Bring
grab
it.
him.
Yeah, if you want to grab them, and Paul's going to jump in here. Well, Nick,
for having us on.
Thank you for having us out here. We had still waiting for a couple of our next guests to come on. Amazing turnout here so far here at the Guererri Racing Party at the Elks Lodge here in Seneca Falls, New York. Paul, you coming? Paul's going to cut. There's a cameo for Paul. You want to jump over here and we'll give room for Derek? No, come right around. Come, just walk right behind. There's a bunch of cables over here. Feel free to slip right behind. Make sure you jump right up on that microphone so everybody can hear you at home. So are you the ringmaster here? Is it fair to say tonight? You in charge of everything?
Oh no, all three of us are really.
Yeah.
Well,
The earlier
pretty hectic out there now.
Earlier they said that they were trying to find the main bird, and I thought that was you.
No.
No, no. I was hoping that Daryl Barrett was going to come and hang out with us here at the same time. Do you know where he's wandered off to?
I don't know. I just see him somewhere.
Don't be afraid to. I don't know if that leg of the table's in the way, but scooch right up on top of that, so you're on top of that mic and everybody can hear you. But while we wait for Daryl to get here, tell me a little bit about where you're at in terms of the preparation for the season. We talked with Matt and Nick a little bit about where they were at, and
Well,
I think Nick's in a little bit better shape than Matt is.
Yeah. It was tough at the end of the year. We had a rough year, real rough year last year, and I was throwing things around to which way to go with manufacturers, and we decided to go with the Troyer small block car again. We had a lot of success with that, and since 2012, so we got a new one of those, and we're gonna give that one a whirl this year.
Awesome. Tell me about how your season went last year. I don't know if the vibe that I got when we were talking earlier and through some of our activities here outside of the racing world in the off season, if you were particularly thrilled with how the season went for you last year.
Well, it started off pretty rough. I ended up wrecking the brand new car the first night, totaled it. Got a new chassis and struggled with it. Towards the end of the year, we got it going good. We had motor issues, and it actually turned out to be a decent year, third in points, but we struggled all year. We wanted to travel a little bit, and with me struggling, I just didn't want to travel or nothing. Just try to stick with Canandaigua. But
how wearing is that on you mentally when things aren't going right? You seem like you're fighting the current every time you turn around, trying to get the car to run right. You get to the track. The efforts during the week, they're not necessarily paying off. I mean, you had the remarkable misfortune, I guess you could say, of finishing with the same number of wins on your ledger as Daryl Barrett, who's just sitting down next to us here. How trying is that on you mentally?
Yeah, believe it or not, he was a big help last year. Like I said, we lost our brand new car the first night, and I think it was by Thursday we had the new one together ready to go. So he's actually a big help in what I do every week. we harass each other, but we actually do help each other out.
Well, he delivered a bunch of parts for you tonight, right?
Yeah, and I probably got a bill up there for $2,000, but
$2,500.
Make sure you jump right up on top of that so everybody can hear you. Let me doing a little bit of housekeeping here. It looks like we've got a couple people joining us here online, which is good for a Saturday night. Daryl Barrett joining us here at the table as well. Daryl, thanks for coming and hanging out with us here. I know this is something that you've been looking forward to this, mostly because you're going to get paid for dropping off parts. It's not necessarily because you want to hang out with Paul. But tell me a little bit about how your season went last year.
It started off miserable. It got better at the end. Canandaigua just didn't suit me as far as the dry slick. I can't figure that place out. We had a third place early in the season. Track actually had some bite to it that night, so I think that's why we ran as well as we did. We got to a point towards mid-season, we decided to make a change, and we went down to Skyline Raceway, just south of Cortland. And right off the bat, car was really good down there. We got up to second our first night there, and then I got spun out. We ended up finishing fifth, I think, and from there we kept going. A couple weeks later, I got my first win in a Sportsman, and we ended the season. The Turbo Blue race started 10th. Had a problem the very first lap, went to the back, and I ran back up to 7th with no yellow flags.
You having more fun in the Sportsman car than you had in the other divisions you've raced?
Towards the end of the year, when things started going well, I was having a ton of fun. When we were struggling, trying to figure out what to do, I was miserable. I'm one of those guys who I've had a lot of success in the past with go-karts and micro sprints and stuff like that. It hasn't exactly translated to full-size cars.
Did you see him roll his eyes?
Yeah. I'll get him for that. But anyways, we struggled a lot with the full-size cars, and it's just nice that we finally got things on the right path. Going to Troyer was the best thing we've done. That car is phenomenal. It really made me happy to race again. And, we're looking forward to another good year with it.
See, I told you I'd steer you in the right direction with
the
car.
After all the ripping on you that I did for you going to Troyer, I take it all back. You made the right call, and I figured if you could win in a Troyer, I must be able to.
Yeah.
You've been running the modified style cars for a long time, spent most of the time in Sportsman, ventured in the modified ranks a little bit. All this talk about when things started changing, we had the Max Flex and we had all these different iterations of the modifieds. Does that stuff make that much difference when you're in a big block car? And then likewise, does it translate as an effective add-on in the Sportsman division?
I think they're totally different cars.
Yeah.
I think the car that I had last year was actually built for a big block, and I figured we'd give it a whirl. But we had success at the end of the year with it. But I believe that the small block car that we have now is the way to go in the crates.
Yeah. Now, why is that? It's
just the way everything's in the car. Fuel cell location, battery location, the way the engine's in the car.
So you're talking about weight transfers and stuff like that?
Yes.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. The TD1 is set up with a higher center of gravity on it, so it gets over on the right rear better. You get more forward drive off of it. It's a stiffer car, which is better for a small block motor where you have a lack of power and a lack of torque. It transfers better through the chassis to get it to the track. Where the TD2 is a much softer car, it's meant to flex a lot more, and I think that's where it was lost in translation with the two cars.
But is that car going to wear out faster?
No.
No?
No. My car, the car that I have, I bought from Mike Petruska. It was a former Atlas paving car. Danny Johnson won in that car. Bobby Varon won in that car. Dwayne Howard won in that car. And it only had 10 races on it when I bought it. I put it together, and it was plug and play. I mean, I took it out on the track, and the thing was dialed from the get-go. Yeah. Of course, once the track dried out on me, I was lost. Despite Paul's best efforts to get me going in the right direction, I just couldn't do it. But
Well, he just don't want to listen. We point him in the right direction. He don't want to listen. So,
Or he wants
and
to.
he's not a believer of the Hoosiers either. So,
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Hoosier tires.
Now, why is that?
Well, they're a 30-year-old tire design that's meant for a car that was 30 years old, and they just haven't changed with the times and the way the cars work. 30 years ago, the cars do not work like they do now.
Okay.
And that's the big.
I don't think
issue
there's
with
any
tires.
technology that's the same now as it was 30 years ago.
Oh, the tires are. I mean, I can't say that Hoosiers are terrible. I can go to Utica, Rome, and I'm actually pretty decent on them there. I think the track surface itself has a lot to do with it.
The technology in Paul's flip phone from 15 years ago, that hasn't changed anything.
He still uses a flip phone.
T9 word at its best. Go on now. We were talking about your, your tires.
But yeah, the American racers, besides the 44 compound, are natural rubber. They react better. They have softer sidewalls, so you get more input from the car. You can actually feel what's going on. The Hoosier tires are a much stiffer sidewall. You just don't get the read on the car that you do with the American racers. And it's just personal preference. I just like them better. I mean, I struggled on the Hoosiers. I put the American racers on it, and all of a sudden I was running up front. So
This is the most I've heard Daryl talk like a racer ever.
I hear it all the time, but I don't know if I listen all the time.
The Skyline is an American racer track, or do they give you options?
no, you can run the Hoosier if
You
you
can.
want. You can come down and run it. You are not going to be competitive on
Sure.
it. A couple guys came down last year and tried it. One car was laps down. The other car ran in the back. He didn't go down any laps, but he did run in the back. You can come down, and they've made it. This year with the new ownership, he's made it so if you want to come down and run other track rules, whatever, feel free. They're trying to get the cars to come there.
Sure.
My personal opinion, Frank Payne, the former owner, did an awesome job with that place, and I really don't understand why the cars didn't come down. They pay just as well as anybody else. The starting money was $100 to $125 just to start, and the track conditions were phenomenal every night.
Well, you said that was a place where you could make money versus other options.
Yeah, I mean, I could go to Canandaigua, which was 15 minutes from my shop. By the time I paid for gas, paid to get in, I just about break even for a night. Because I never counted on anything more than starting money anyways. 'Cause
Sure.
the field is so tough there. I mean, the experience that's on that track, I'm nothing compared to what most of those guys are. So
That's not the attitude to have there, though. You got to have the attitude when you go to a track, no matter where it is, you can win.
Well,
you can run in
no,
top 2,
and
3
I
every
agree.
week.
You got to have that attitude, and I always went in there thinking I do well, and then at the end of the night, I'd
But
be
you,
like,
you just said
reality
it a
would
few
set
minutes
in.
ago. You just said, I go there expecting last place money.
But
That's
if
not
you
the
go
attitude.
to
Is that going in with an honest expectation, or is that going in with a negative mindset? Is he being realistic with himself, or is he going in there negative?
I think he's negative because he proved himself the one night. He ran third place. I ran behind him.
My mindset is I'm going to walk out of there with $50 no matter what I do. Anything on top of that is a bonus. That's how I looked at it.
See, that's
I
not
always
the way to
tried,
look at it.
I wanted to run better. I tried, and there were a few nights where I actually looked like I knew what I was doing out there, which is rare. But
See, my goals when I leave this house every Saturday, my goal is no matter where I start, I want to be in the top 2 every week.
the difference
And that's the
between
attitude you got to have. You're
Hang on
going
one
to the
second. But you're also, if I'm not mistaken, you're also the career wins leader in Sportsman Division at Canandaigua.
when you've been racing a
Yeah.
car since Jesus ran chariots, your expectations can be a little bit different.
But,
This is the first year that I've actually run a full season in a sportsman car.
Well, actually, he's trying to pare his season down. He's got 98 races on his schedule. He's trying to knock it down to 40.
I got 98 races on my schedule. I'm going to try to knock it down to 10.
142. Get it right.
But
I'm going after Rocky
Even
Warner
before I
this year.
started winning, I was going to the track, wanting my goal is the top 5. If you go to the track expecting a 20th place finish, that's what you're going to get.
Self-fulfilling prophecy kind of things.
Yeah.
But I sucked at Canandaigua. I knew what I was going to
See,
get.
it's all in your head. You finished the 3rd one night, and you were one of the fastest cars on the track.
Okay,
That's something
I'll
to build
come back
on.
to Canandaigua. We'll switch cars some night. We'll see how that works out.
That's not the car. It's all in your head. Because your car is probably better than mine.
So wait a minute. So if I understand that right, if it's not the car, it's all in your head. You're willing to swap cars with him then?
Yeah.
But I tried to do that, and what was said?
Well, hang on. No, we're not living in the past anymore. We're living today and forward. You said, it's not in the car. It's in your head. You'd be willing to swap cars with him.
Oh, I don't know if my sponsors would go for it, but it'd be something that would be pretty cool.
You'd have to get couple really big decals, and you just put them over the top of his for the night, and then both cars would have the same. You'd have two cars worth of sponsorships. It'll work out great.
The big thing is there in the bigger picture, my car goes to his shop for final setup anyways. So if he's going to drive it, he's going to set the car up the way he wants it anyways, which his setup, granted last year he ran a TD2 and I had a TD1, so our setups weren't identical, but this year our setups will pretty much be the same. So he could get into my car and do what he does, and I could get into his car and do what I do. It isn't going to change.
I'm a little disappointed that we've gotten this far into this discussion, which I think is a great discussion, that nobody said anything about a stock car being a stock car. They're all set up to be equal, so you don't have to worry about getting beat by another driver. Right? Just start quoting. Let's just make the rest of the segment just quotes of Days of Thunder.
There ain't nothing stock about a stock car.
I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, his angle right there. Just some of the thoughts you just said about TD2 versus TD1. It's being set up how you want it to be set up.
Yeah, but
he brought in some stuff about the experience, and you do have a remarkable amount of experience, and we've seen you do very well.
Experience does help out a lot, especially at that track. But
you've been in Sportsman 3 years.
Well, I had a car in 2007. I ran an abbreviated season with a car that was the biggest pile I've ever seen, and then I bought my last car, my Bicknell, in 2010. I ran 3 races that year. 2011, I ran 9 races. 2012, I didn't race at all. 13, I ran 6 races. And then last year, I ran 19 races. So if you think about it, I have maybe...
So you got the equivalent of about 2 full seasons worth.
Yeah, around there.
Spread out.
So there are novice drivers that have more experience than me.
But Canandaigua, I don't know. Canandaigua is someplace you spend a lot of time, though. So
yeah, I ran street stocks there for a while. I did from 2001 up to 2006. I ran street stocks. But what you learn in street stocks, it doesn't transfer. I mean, you learn wheel-to-wheel racing and get some ideas on what the track is like.
Wheel-to-wheel racing is a friendly way of putting it, but So coming back to what you were saying about seat time and experience.
What was that?
Coming back to you about seat time and experience, now that we got a fair gauge that since 2007, you've got the equivalent of having 2 full seasons of seat time with a couple of seasons where there was no races even contested. So how important is seat time, and how important is being in seat time on a regular basis to develop some sort of momentum?
I think that's the key is, getting as much seat time as you can at the one place, and don't get frustrated. And I understand everyone gets frustrated, but you just don't give up. Keep plugging away at it, and I've been racing Canandaigua for probably 25 years. This is my 25th year there, and I guess experience does, it's a big part of it.
When you look back at 25 years of experience at Canandaigua, can you believe that you're looking at 25 years of experience?
No, I was thinking about that the other day, and I was just talking to Mel Thomas earlier about when I first started my racing days. I was at Paradise every Friday night, and to have a grit race there, that's one race on my schedule. I told my guys, I said, that's the one race I'm planning on going to this year. Is, I got my first top 5 finish over there at Paradise, and it's gonna be it's a nice track. It's gonna be a fun race.
Now, you said every time you leave the house, your goal is to finish top 2. I got to believe with the amount of history that you have at Paradise Speedway, that second is not an option. You want to win that race in your 25th anniversary season.
That'll be a big win to win over there. It's that like I said, that's where I started out racing, and it'd be pretty cool to win that race.
Daryl's explaining that his expectations are on a given night to come, get a little bit of tow money for showing up there, and anything above that is bonus. Your goals instead are to finish top 2. For somebody who's starting out, what should their expectations be if they come and they race on a weekly basis at Canandaigua? What should they be targeting if they're going to be honest with themselves without being negative?
I guess do the best you can. You know, if you're doing,
you got a stacked field with anywhere from 10 to 15 cars that can win on any particular night. So if they can come out there and run it from 12th to 18th, should they be considering that a successful night?
No, in my opinion, Canandaigua has in the sportsman class the best of the best up there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got like you said, there's probably 10, 15 cars on any given night that can win up there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can, we started a race with probably 25, 26 cars. If you can get in the top 15, you know, and you're a rookie or a beginner, that's doing pretty good, I think.
Now, on the flip side, we've got the new Legend Sportsman division. How has that been in terms of building the sportsman class at Canandaigua?
I think that's real good. That's where this guy here that's harassing me, he started off. You know, you learn a lot from that. I think that's a real good class to do, and I was pretty bummed out when nobody wanted to do that at Canandaigua last year. I think it went 2 weeks, and then they dropped it because there's no cars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So what do you think of the party so far?
So far, not too bad. I mean,
so far,
I didn't want to come, but Paul kind of forced me into it. And, you know, it is what it is. I see enough of this guy on a regular basis. I don't need to come to his party to see him.
Yeah, he actually asked me tonight when we're going to actually start putting my car together.
Yeah, it's just sitting there with, like, what? You got a steering box in it?
I got the motor plate in it, too.
Oh, motor plate's in it now. Awesome. All right.
Move right up.
One good week of work, good weekend, we should have it pretty close.
That sounds pretty good.
Good week of work. For how many people?
I know they're starting to serve dinner out there. Is there anybody that you wanted to make mention of here before we cap this segment and you get to tag in a couple new drivers?
What'd you say? I wasn't
anybody that you wanted to make mention of here before we let you go? I know we're playing the roundabout here. I know there's a couple other drivers you wanted to get on here before we ended tonight.
Oh, I see. We got Kevin Ridley over there. He's here. Daryl Ruggles here. Frank's here. Eldon Payne's here. Ray Hendershot. We got quite a few people. I'll line them up if you want.
Sure. Send anybody over that you want. If anybody that you want to tag in here, by all means. Anybody that, before I let you go, sponsor-wise, you want to make mention of?
Proctor Enterprises. Without him, you know, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. I got a couple ones that are stepping up this year. I got Tri-County Excavating, L. Raymond Collision. Lost a few, you know. Givo's Rears and Gears, he's been with me 15 years, and he's got a few things going on. He's building a house, and he's going to step away for a little bit. And I appreciate everything he's done. Like I said, he's been with me for 15 years, and I got to thank him for being with me for them 15 years.
That's awesome. Anybody you want to mention?
My wallet.
Okay.
That's the only sponsor on the car. You know, we carry my mother's business, barmorepuppies.com. She helped out quite a bit last year. She's stepping back a little bit this year because the business is going to be going away after this year. So she's banking everything just so she has a little bit to live on. Other than that, Paul, you know, one thing about Paul is he's the ultimate motivator. He wants to make me a better driver, and he's always trying to make me think better than what I actually am, which has been great. I'll just say that, you know, winning at Skyline last year was the ultimate confidence booster, and I'm going into this season thinking I could pretty much go anywhere and be competitive. The car itself has been
There
awesome.
you go. That's the attitude to have.
Troyer has been really good to me this year. Mike Rhodes has been taking care of me. Other than that, Bob Henry's exhaust. He built me a really kick-ass exhaust system, and we're working together a little bit this year on some new stuff. Other than that, Lightning Speed, Eldon Payne, he's doing my shock program. I switched to him at the end of last year, and I couldn't believe the difference in the shocks he put on my car. It was night and day, and that's about it.
Excellent.
I got to add Eldon, too. Eldon, he stepped up when my car started going good last year with the shocks, and him and Tony Burgos, they got me going, you know, in the right direction, and they're helping me out pretty good this year. So I got to thank Lightning Speed.
Excellent. Well, if you want to go find him, bring him over. We'll talk a little bit more
I'm just
about
trying
the
to
shocks.
figure out who's down at Radio Hill tonight.
I don't know. I saw Mike Cooley was looking for information.
We got a whole bunch of people
It didn't.
here. All right, thanks for having me.
Yeah, hang on 1 second. Well, if you want to go find Eldon quick? Yeah.
I'll go find Eldon.
We'll see. We'll jump on here real quick and see if we can find out what the situation is down there at Radio Hill. I know.
Can I make a bathroom break?
Yeah, sure. I was going to try and pull up the answer your question quick. Just to answer that question, there's 21. Rich Sharpstein down there, and top qualifier for Rich Sharpstein. Awesome deal for him. Expect Eldon Payne to be joining us here momentarily and see who else we might come across as we work through the first hour of live coverage from the Guererri Racing Party here at the Elks Lodge in Seneca Falls. Keeping an eye out and around. So just wanted to mention again one more time that the Enduros that were scheduled today have been moved to May 14th from Canandaigua Motorsports Park to, again, that's May the 14th. Got 2 open seats. Eldon Payne, going to jump in here. You can take either seat that you want. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
How are you?
Good.
Feel free to jump right up on top of that microphone. We had a couple guys on here a moment ago, Daryl and Paul, both talking a lot about how their cars woke up after they got shocks from Lightning Speed, and wondered if you wanted to tell us a little bit about the shock program, how it came to be, how your drivers are faring, and what you're doing different than everybody else.
I think that we're trying to tailor to the drivers. You know.
Oh boy, that's not good. Hang on 1 second. All right, I got it, sir. Thank you.
You can't see us, but no, you see the plaques or something. Yep, that's your. It's right in the center now. He walked up. Some kid walked up and hit that. Flipped it.
Just ditched it, and still not quite where we need to be. I'm gonna go ahead and make another quick adjustment on that.
You were in line for food, weren't you?
Right at the table. My kid's mad because he wants to sit here now. Why didn't you stay in line?
Oh. Broke it?
Extra parts. Yep. Let me know when that gets set up. We're doing all this live. It's fun.
I don't think it's that bad.
Other way.
We're doing this
Right
live
there.
still.
That's good right there.
Yeah, it's live. We're live right now. Is everybody in there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, except you. You're not in it right now. Oh, maybe you are. Oh, now you are.
I will be. I will be. They dimmed the lights in here while we were gone, and everything looks like it's crazy red now, but oh well. So anyway, now that we've adjusted from the it wasn't even a technical malfunction. It was just a cross-check. But we were talking a little bit about the shock program and
yeah, I think we're I think we started a couple years ago. At least I did, working with a couple different drivers, and it seemed like everything we were getting from other people was things that they thought that the drivers should be running. You know what I mean? And so I took it upon myself. You watch a lot of these guys, and you're watching yourself, and it's helping me learn. And so we picked Steve Gray a couple years ago when he was running Canandaigua, and we took Lightning Speed, and before it was Lightning Speed, and I went from the front of the car to the back of the car, and took some rotating weight out of the car, and started building shocks for him. And everybody knows what happened. He was tough, tough, and then so we just triggered into it, and actually last year I knew Paul was having a rough time there. He was so, and I don't know how we got hooked up, but I'm like, man, I really want to help you out and get things going, and that was a big improvement. I think he saw it, we saw it, and so that's what we're doing. We're just trying to take each person, each driver, each car, and look at their situation, take their dollar amounts, and make it work. You know what I mean? And make them better. That's the goal. You know, and not just give them shocks that everybody should be running or whatever, and took a little bit of the cost away from it, and I think it's successful. You know, we had a ton of guys win last year, and you know, and we got some guys in Orange County, and you know, all over the place. It's been really good, and we're pleased.
I know you were pretty pleased.
Yes, like I said earlier, you know, we struggling last year, and you know, started working with them maybe halfway through the season, 3/4 of the way through the season, and towards the end of the year, it was hooked up pretty good, and we got a few things working this year, and I think we're gonna have a good year.
Who have you got in terms of sprint car drivers?
We haven't been able to pin anybody down. You know, we wanted to. You know, if Daryl's talked to me, Daryl Ruggles has talked to me a couple times about doing stuff for his sprint car stuff, but they didn't quite go that route. So we're slowly but surely working through. You know, we're building a new facility, and there's just a lot going on in my own racing, and people, you know, and lightning speed's busy, and you know, we're not doing just shocks. We have some packages for the rear ends. We have some packages for the transmissions. We have a dry shaft package. We got, you know, we're a dealer. We're trying to make a difference with all the divisions. So, you know, we're just working away at it, you know, and little by little we're getting there. We just started a website, and, you know, so we're building from the ground up here, but we'll certainly help anybody, you know what I mean? And hopefully we can make everybody different. I mean, I know Daryl Barrett, you know, he came to me right after that night, and he's like, I don't know if I've ever drove my car that felt that good. And then he ended up winning down at Skyline. So I don't know all about Skyline. I don't know. I just try to watch a driver and make a difference. You know, we've helped Rob Bussey now for a couple years, and you know, we just want to target everybody, you know.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned your own racing. How's that been going?
Well, we went to Volusia this year, which we've never done before, and we unloaded, you know, fast, and we had some minor problems with the new car during the week, but we really we felt like we were contenders. So our racing program is probably better than it's ever been, and I think you know, running the dirt circuit is going to be a tall order, but well, I think we're ready for it.
Excited about the year at Canandaigua?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, we're it's in our backyard, so we make that choice to go there, and you know, now signing with the dirt series, it makes the most sense for us to obviously drive 7 minutes to the track and run. So I'm just excited about racing in general, and I haven't been this way in a long time. We got motors and cars, and you know, with Billy the Kid and them helping us, and then we just went to Bicknell, and they all want us. They seem to want to help us, so that's what we had to do. Just like we want to help people, you know, we went that way, and we've been with Tio since 2001. So
I remember the Tio cars. You've been with them forever.
Yeah, and we just you know, we were the only guy at Canandaigua. We were the only Tio dealer up here, you know, and we were trying to get the support and help, and I understand we're a long ways away, and you know, it was time to, you know, I think I'm overdue. I feel that I should have won a bunch of races, and it seems like we get down to 3-4 laps to go, and we have a yellow and the tires fall off the car. So we, you know, we needed help. We needed to learn, and so it was time to make a move.
I see. And how do you feel about Paul running the Troyer car? Now that you're dyed in the wool Bicknell.
We discussed that the other day.
I think they're all race cars. I think last year he was really struggling with the car that he had, and I think that I honestly believe that our help put him. I mean, at the end of the year, I think he ran off 5 or 6 top 3 finishes from running, 7th and 8th. What I was watching, and he, he was right there. I think we did our job, and I don't think it matters what race car he's in. I think he's going to be tough.
Answer your question before you took off there. 21 cars down at Radio Hill for the Mud Boss division, and Rich Sarpstein right now top qualifier.
Nice.
He's going to be
turnout down
he's
there.
going to be a problem. He's getting very good very fast. And
Eldon, you forgot to mention your business partner.
Oh yeah.
That's a well-known name, especially in this area, and he's been out of it. I talked to him the other night. He's been out of it for quite a long time, and he's back into it again.
Who's your business partner?
Tony Burgos. So Tony's, we actually ran into each other at Rolling Wheels 2 years ago, and he was out of racing for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I go, "Hey, we're racing." And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he goes,
"Hey,
he says, I'm ready to go back into it again, And of course, a lot of people probably don't know. I worked for Tony when I was like 17, 18, 19, 20, during his BRD days, and so we were pretty tight then, and he seen what I was doing and see that it was a lot, that I was trying to juggle and do whatever, and I'm like, hey, I would love to have it all go, and then his knowledge of, what he learned and where he's been, and it's working, you know what I mean? He's a great person. He's an easy person to deal with, and he's certainly made my racing. He opened my eyes to a lot of things that we weren't doing, and it takes money, but we have better race cars for it now, and I think Tony's a huge asset to my racing, let alone a great business partner. And I think, like Paul mentioned, I'm glad he did, because I wasn't even thinking that a lot of people don't realize it, that Tony is my partner, and we're trying to make it start again. And he's had 1 million people ask him when he's going to start building cars or when he's going to do this, and it's not in the future, but I can see him itching towards it. That's for sure. I mean, he's
little by little,
he had
right?
some big success in a short period of time, and then a lot of success with being, with his stepdad being show car. Mm-hmm. So he's got the knowledge, and it's and only improves my whole situation, and it's certainly helping our business. People remember.
It's good to have a spokesman, right?
That's right.
Doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I'd have got my butt kicked when I talk to him tomorrow, right?
Maybe not. Maybe he'll really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy, and big part of organizing us, with lightning speed and doing the things we're doing. Man, we're gaining leaps and bounds. Shortly here we'll probably have the new facility done, and we're gonna have we got 5,000 square feet we're putting up right now, and we're hoping to expand, in the future. So
that way it'll give you room to make the shop where you actually build the cars, right?
Maybe. No push there. I don't miss those days. I did a lot of grinding and cutting and welding in that shop with Tony. So I mean, it's definitely where I learned, and I'm grateful for that.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear things are going well. And then all the other businesses between the construction and you have the tilt beds and all that other stuff still going well?
Well, the tilt bed business was my father's. He retired in October, and we're just presently getting ready to reopen. It'll be Payne's Trucking, and we're gonna keep it going. But there's a lot going on. That's for sure.
Jeez, it's a good thing. It's a good thing you found a way to burn both ends of the candle, cut the candle in half, and then burn the middle too.
Yeah, All I can say is if you put good people in the right places, I think, and with any business you've seen over the years, it eventually it's going to work its way to the top. So that's what we're just trying to do. We're trying to have the right people in the right places,
Excellent.
And if you run into problems during the summer or you get too busy and you can't race, I might know somebody who will want to run that big block.
Do you know who that is? Oh, my kid that's 10 years old over here. All right, where is he at? Alex is getting ready to drive a slingshot this year. He's got a.
Oh yeah.
So next generation he's 10 and he's gonna run the junior slingshot series. So we're gonna be traveling doing that also.
You're crazy.
No, that's all right. There's time to sleep when you're dead, right?
Perfect. I may have myself subscribed to that at times. That's awesome. So where all does the slingshot go?
It's mostly Pennsylvania, so we'll be doing at Cord Speedway.
You gonna go to Cutstown?
Yeah, we'll be at Cutstown, that's for sure. And I don't know. The nice part about the slingshots are you can miss some of the races and still be in the points. They make it good, so they take like your best 6 out of the 12 race series or the best 8 out of the 12 race series, and so that allows you to miss where you can't be and stuff. So he's got to do well in school and keep. He's playing baseball and doing that stuff, so we want him to do that. But
runs in the family.
We want him to race.
Keep him busy.
And we got Paradise. On Wednesdays it'll be a good practice place for him, and
definitely.
And get us down there with some guys and possibly work on different things with their shock packages and stuff and whatever to try to learn. And we went to Florida. We just became a Bilstein direct dealer, so that was a big angle we were hoping for because when Fox came along they kind of fell out of the picture some, so we were great to have their help and have them helping us, and now we got some good factory techs to talk to and develop that, so we're pushing Paul to be on the new Bilstein stuff, and Rob Bussey, and I know Carl Comfort's going to be, and for our sportsman guys, and then we are, they got a new 10-inch steel for the shocks, for the modifieds, the aluminum and stuff, and we're going to be a local guy, but we'll do Fox, and we'll do Integra for somebody, you know what I mean? And we're, like I said, our goal is to help everybody and not make everybody spend $1 million to get better,
Sure. Well, it all sounds like everything's going real well.
Just keep moving.
Got to do that. Keep punching, right? Well, I know you were anxious to get up there. It looks like the lines died down a little bit.
Well, we're all right. That was more for the kids. It looks like they decided to eat, right?
They took it on themselves.
I know Paul's getting hungry.
No, I ate earlier.
Oh, wait a minute. Wasn't that on Facebook?
What? Yeah.
You eating earlier?
Yeah. I'm sure it was.
Oh, no. Facebook's dangerous, man.
Yeah, it can be.
It's not necessarily a good thing. I use it mostly just to let people know where our shows are at. I get nervous about that thing. People abuse it way too much.
So yeah, anybody that wants to deal with lightning speed, I know we're gonna set up a Facebook page, and there's a website out there now, and it has our address and our phone numbers, and certainly give us a call and try to set it up so we can meet with you.
That's awesome. Use all those tools. You can track down Lightning Speed, find out more information about them. New Central New York Finger Lakes region Bilstein dealer as well. So that's awesome. Things are progressing as fast as they are. Sounds like you got a lot of success on the horizon.
Yeah, we're excited.
Well, I appreciate it a ton.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming and hanging out with us for a little bit. It was Eldon Payne with Lightning Speed. It's a pretty neat conversation there with the shock program coming right back here local.
Yeah, like you said, we're going to switch from the Fox shocks this year and go to the Bilsteins, and hopefully that'll be a good thing.
Awesome. You want to get? Come on, come over here. How much war of what type of war of words did we just sign up for?
It's going to get ugly now.
It's gonna get ugly,
especially if he didn't eat yet.
when he sits down. Wrist port out, jumping up here.
Yeah, that's
Sitting
the
down
first
just
one
for a
in the
little
food line.
Did it work?
Go figure.
Did they pull the covers off for you?
What's that? Only 4 meatballs per person, Paul? That's not good.
There's 1,000 meatballs back there. They're limiting them. They're
You think they
rationing.
would have gave a couple more than 4?
Hey,
Wow.
you probably put some in your pockets for later.
So how's your night been?
Not bad. I'd rather be here than, well, no. I'd rather be racing someplace. But that's okay.
What's your 2016 season shaping up to be like?
Rat rod, car shows. That's all I'm
That's
doing.
it. Nothing.
Maybe
Not
a
gonna
couple
try.
hit and miss over at Canandaigua or something, but nothing major.
No, I know. Paul was very concerned about what was going on down at Radio Hill, wondering about the RC cars. He was very concerned about what was happening down there.
All the cheaters are over here in the room, so it's all set down there.
Do you miss racing on a regular basis?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, you know, I found other avenues to go down. I just do my rat rod stuff and do some car shows, travel around. It's not quite enough, but it'll do for now.
Do you get over to the Memorial Day car show in Waterloo every year?
Yeah, I hit it a couple years ago. I didn't go this year. I think we went out to Ohio this year for a car show, so that's all.
So tell me more about the rat rods.
Well, it is what it is. You familiar with a rat rod?
Yes,
the
I'm
rustier the better,
familiar. Yes.
lower the better, chop the better.
I think you shared a picture of what appeared to be a Volkswagen Beetle that was on tires.
Well,
of
that was cool. I like that. But I got a 29 Ford sedan, and it's chopped, but I'm taking 3 more inches out of it this year. So
where are you
since
going
I
to
lost
find?
some weight, I can bend over now. I can hunch.
So is this something that anybody that wants a car built, they can come and you build one for them? Or
You
just
know
do it-
what? It's more of a personal thing anyway. You just build it out of whatever you feel that you want to put in it. That's what
Right.
it's all about.
So is it something that you're just doing? You're just doing for fun. You build one, finish one, sell one, and start the next.
Yeah, I've done a truck already. This is my car, and you know I'm building a bunch of the little pocket rockets that you drive around the pits in, and I'm building one that looks like a rat rod. So that's all. Just simple little stuff that satisfies my deal.
Sure. Is he taking you for riding the rat rod yet?
No, he says I won't fit in it.
That's.
We'll shoehorn them in.
I was afraid that was going to be the response. But you've been staying pretty active with the racing side of things, at least on the RC side.
Well, yeah, I hang out with all my friends like you guys and stuff like that, so it keeps me active in the racing world. So that's a fun part of it. I get to see all my old friends and everything like that. So that's all we ask for.
And it's a lot of fun getting down there and racing those things like Paul had alluded to at Radio Hill. And I tell you, we have had tracks coming out of the woodwork wanting to have 200 lap races.
Yeah,
like,
that was the best thing
This
you
is
could have ever
unreal.
done.
Like,
That was a lot of fun.
Way, way over my head right now.
That's okay.
There's
That's
outdoor
good.
tracks that are calling us to Buffalo. There's I don't know if was I talking with you or was I talking with Nick about the track in Virginia?
No, it must have been Nick.
JMW, my friend Ed Brewster, the guy that I know
Yep.
through the RC Derby stuff, he owns JMW Motorsports Park, and they've got a number of different tracks there. They have a rock crawler pit, they have a monster truck thing, they have tractor pulls, scale tractor pulls, they have circle track, flat track, dirt track, asphalt, you name it.
Really?
They want to introduce the Mud Boss Series as the rules stand at Radio Hill. They're making a new flat track packed clay oval. They have a high banked oval, and they have an asphalt track.
That'd
And
be
they want to
awesome.
have a day or a weekend of racing just for mud bosses with extra distance events at each of the 3 different formats.
Really?
So, I mean,
That's awesome. See, that'll be a blast.
we got to get the finishing touches put on that. But would you go to Virginia with an RC car?
I don't know about that. Depending.
I
on
knew
what
he
it is.
wouldn't. I-
In the
see,
winter-
that's- I
in
know
the
it's-
wintertime,
If we got
maybe.
us all together, if we shared expenses, we'd have a ball down
In the
there.
wintertime, but summertime would be tough with the
summertime's
regular
hard.
cars.
It'd be late fall, I would think, just
From
because
November on,
just
we're
because
good.
of my schedule. But I mean, they run the outdoor track all year round. Like he was at the track today, down in Virginia.
Yeah.
I mean, they live in the mountains and stuff. It's not too awful bad.
All right.
But, yeah, we'll keep you posted as things develop.
Yeah,
It looks
let
like
me
you're
know.
being beckoned.
Yeah, I gotta go. All right.
It was always good seeing you.
guys.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm gonna go grab something to eat.
Grab some
All right.
balls for me, Paul.
Yep. What do you think? Is there anybody else wants to come, or are we about?
I'll send a few your way right now.
All right, send them over.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, no problem. Thanks for coming back. Minus the camera flying away on us. Wasn't too bad of an event so far. Excited. If anybody's in and around the area, they're welcome to come and hang out with us here at the Elks Lodge in Seneca Falls. Trying to recenter this on the fly. If you see me watching closely the computer at where the microphones are stationed so that we can keep everybody in close on the camera. There's dinner being served, band now playing in the background. You can come and hang out. Watch out for the cables. We got a lot of cables on that side. Walk around the camera that way and come right over to that seat. Got raffles? Yeah, he did. He did. A couple more drivers coming and hanging out with us. We got Kevin Ridley and Frankie Gray Jr. Frank, man, thanks for coming and hanging out. This is as much your party as everybody else's, but I haven't seen you doing anything official looking.
Yeah, nothing official this week. My party's next week, same place, 5 o'clock. So I just try to look busy.
We talked a little bit with some of your stablemates earlier. Matt and Nick were talking about how depends on how well you do where your car gets parked in terms of being worked on. If you have to do it underneath the tree outside or if you get to come in the shop.
Yeah, I'm used to working under the trees, so it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Doesn't change anything?
Nope.
I saw on the table there was a new a chain fall that might be good for you. There's a chain fall out there on the table. One of the raffle prizes, you could hang that up to that walnut tree and you'd be able to pull your motors easier.
Yeah, that definitely helped Kevin out a little bit. We make him work on the car just as much as I do, I think. So,
Kevin joining us here. What do you think? I can't believe the turnout here.
Yeah, it's a great turnout. Good for these guys, get a little extra money in their pockets before the season starts, and you start off on a good note, hopefully.
I'm not going to make you talk any more than you have to or more than you want to, because I know this is pretty much making your skin crawl right now. You don't like doing this thing in front of the camera.
Nah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, okay.
There are a few of the media outlets that I really won't do interviews with, but you're fine.
Okay, all right. All right, so I can relax now.
Yeah, we're good. Don't worry.
Awesome. Well, so what's your season shaping up like? I know you've jumped over to the late model.
Yeah, we plan to get a motor and our shocks next week, and I'm going to make Friday night Outlaw Speedway my home. I'm going to do as much as I can on Saturday nights at Canandaigua, run as much as the local Rush Series and Go Nuclear Series as I can, and just try to have some fun. It's going to be something different, big learning curve, and it depends on how we're running is what we do.
So why the change back to the full fender division, this time going with the late model?
I've always loved the late models and just told everybody if they got any closer in Fulton, I'd jump in one, and everything popped up with Sweeteners having a car for sale, and my car sold right at the same time, my sportsman car, and we talked about going late models, and then we kind of changed our mind and said we'd go back sportsman racing, and then when the car actually sold, we ended up going to Sweeteners and just brought the car home. So
now you've been in pro stocks and street stocks in the past, and you've had the opportunity in the past to go with the BRP Can-Am style 360 late models. What was the change between those and what you're looking at getting into now that made it feasible?
The crate motors. I always wanted to run the BRP class, but I have friends that race in that class, and to see what they were spending, it was just absolutely insane. So, you could get used parts pretty much from any of the guys around, and if you want to travel into Pennsylvania, they're a dime a dozen up there.
Right.
And, they got the crate motor up here now, so it definitely seemed feasible, and figured if we were going to give it a shot, now was the time.
I didn't realize you were such a late model fan.
Yeah, growing up, I've always loved the late models. Sprint cars, I love watching the sprint cars race, but, I never really got into it as much as I did the late models, and just that's what I wanted to do. That's right. Always where I wanted to end up, so.
So how about you, Kevin? I mean, are you a late model fan at all?
I think the cars are pretty cool. I don't see myself ever owning one, but I guess I'll be working on one also. So I don't know. I think the cars are cool. We might take Frank up on his offer, run it a couple times in hot laps or something, just check it out and wheel it around. But I can't see myself buying one though.
How about your season?
I guess we're going to start off with the Sportsman, maybe run some more modified stuff. We'll see. But we'll definitely be at Canandaigua for the opener and run our full season there. And I'm not really sure where we'll run the modified if we do, but I'm sure we'll run it a few times.
Yeah. You excited about that transition continuing?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been in the Sportsman class for, this will be my 11th season. So, I've run the modified 4 times now or so. And, once you get in one of those things and hit the gas, there's nothing like it. You get back in the Sportsman car and you're like, well, I guess this is what I got. But, they're both fun. The modified is definitely way more of a challenge, and I like that. I think for me, not that I win a lot of races in the Sportsman, but it's not much of a challenge for me anymore, in just regards to, I like, most of the time you can hook your crate Sportsman up no problem. In the modified, you got to get it to turn, drive good, and hook it up. So it's definitely, a lot more work and something that I really want to try some more.
Budget-wise, that late model fall pretty much in line with what your budget was for the Sportsman car?
Pretty much. I mean, the shocks are a little more, but used motor, you could get them for the same price you're getting a 602 for. And you could even run the 602 if you really want with a weight brake in the 604, with the Rush series and everything that they got. But we're going to go with the 604. And price-wise, I really don't see a huge difference yet, but we have yet to hit the tracks, too.
Right.
So.
Right, with the modified, significantly more expensive.
Oh, yes, definitely. If it wasn't for, the help of Jeff Brownell, I wouldn't be able to do it at all. So, I got to thank him for, everything he's done for me, and hopefully we can run some more.
Yeah. So is we have tour aspirations here before too long, or are we going to just kind of keep dipping the toe in the water for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, that's how I think it's going to work out, unfortunately. I mean, as much as Jeff helps, it's hard for him. He's not around a lot, and I don't have the funds to do it on my own. So we'll just have to do it when he allows us, I guess.
Mm-hmm. In 11 years, you had to spend a lot of time with Paul in the Sportsman division.
Yeah, we've traded paint quite a few times. It's hard not to. And you get in a big pack of cars, and you're all going the same speed. But we've had our fair share of duels for sure.
We talked a little bit earlier about how stout the Sportsman field is at Canandaigua and how difficult it is to one, come away with a win there, and two, find your way to the front, given that everybody's so even once you get into that probably top 13, 15 cars.
Yeah, it's definitely very, very competitive class at Canandaigua. Towards the end of the season last year, when the track wasn't as good as it was in the middle, it was really, really difficult to come from the back. Some of the nights it's not so hard, but the end of the season was very difficult. That's why we had, I think, the last 5 winners, were different people every week. So,
right.
And even when the track is really good, it's hard to win multiple races. I think there was only 3 of us this year that had multiple wins in the class. So, that's good, for everybody. They all get a little bit of a taste, you know what I mean? It keeps them happy and keeps them coming back for more. So,
right.
Yeah.
How about you saw the Sportsman class before the crate motor came in, and you've seen the explosion of drivers and how it's made guys that have been running there mid-pack very competitive.
Oh, yes.
Now with that transition, from your perspective, give me some thoughts on what that crate motor did for the class.
Well, clearly, it's allowed people that had gotten out of racing to get back into it because it just got so ridiculously expensive. Yeah, the guys were spending, $15,000, $20,000 on a Sportsman engine to go out and race for $400,
Mm-hmm.
and it just got way out of hand. And then once they introduced the crate motor, I think Eric Jagier and I were the first ones to have them. And Eric, that first season, won 2 races with his. So, we come right out of the gate, and, it was my first season ever.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't win, but we had some good runs. And like I said, Eric won a few times. And, after that season, more and more people started getting them because they could see that, that you could be competitive with a $3,000 engine. And so it definitely made a big difference in the class.
It's all those costs is a $3,000 motor?
Well, when we first started, they were $3,000. They're a little more now. They've increasingly gone up year after year. I think what are they, like $3,700 now, Frank? Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So every year they seem to have a little bit of a price increase, but still at $3,700, that's still a pretty affordable.
You could buy almost 3 of them for what you were spending previously.
Exactly, and some people do.
Do they?
Oh yeah. So.
But it doesn't seem like you have the fall off. I mean, when they get a lot of laps on them, they still seem to stay pretty consistent in terms of their power band. And it also doesn't seem like you have a lot of mechanical failures that you have when you got the custom-built, purpose-built motors.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty durable. The only thing that they don't hold up to is the heat. If you get them hot, you scuff a piston, and then you need a new piston, and it usually messes up the cylinder wall. So you got a little bit of work to do there, but they're pretty durable, especially with the rev rule. Now we've got a gear rule, so there is really no rev rule. But we set ours at 6,200, and that's as hard as we turn it. So some guys I know run 64, but I don't see them having problems either. But I don't think I would do that to mine.
Right. It's not 9,000 RPM.
That's right. That's right. And it's funny you say that, though. Like you get in that sportsman car and you race, and then you get into modified, and the thing just sounds like it's screaming. You're only turning 7,600. But, with all that extra, power and stuff, it just sounds like the motor's going to fly out of from underneath the hood. So.
With the development of that crate motor program that Billy Dunn was active with, and that's getting a little bit more traction. Is that something that might help you get to a point where you're running the modified more regularly?
Sure. I mean, if
the spec motor, I should say,
yeah,
not so much crate motor.
Right. Sure. If there was a field of cars or a group of cars that would do it, it'd be kind of tough just to go out there by yourself, and you kind of be in the way probably a little bit. At Canandaigua at least. But it's definitely a doable thing. I think it's a very competitively priced engine. And I think you'll see them filter down into the other classes.
I was disappointed to see that Fulton's meeting didn't go over as strong as they had hoped when they had that to investigate a little bit and see if there was anybody interested in developing that class over there.
Yeah.
But it's all in time. I think there's a lot of people that are still rather locked into where they're at with a modified program. It's one of those things where you've already spent that amount of money.
Right.
You don't want to let something in that's cheaper. You want to make, get the return on your investment first.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So, I mean, it makes it tough when they introduce new deals like that. But, just like the crate motor, they introduced that in and no one wanted them. You know what I mean? Like I said, Eric and I were the first ones to have them. And, we started running well. And next thing 4 or 5 people had them. And now, obviously, everyone has to have them. So,
right.
It definitely will find its way in at some point.
just a matter of time.
That's right.
Any tour racing for you this year? You gonna mess around with the Grit Series at all?
We might hit a few here and there. I'm not 100% sure. We don't have a lot of funding on our team, so we do what we can all out of our pocket, and how we perform, on weekends, determines whether we can go race somewhere during the week.
Sure.
So we'll try our best at that, and see how we end up.
What about Paradise? That Grit Series race coming up in the end of the season.
Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on that. I don't know if that'll happen or what. But if it does, it's in my backyard. I'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna dig a sportsman car out for that?
Yeah. Anybody got a car I could destroy at Paradise? No, that'd definitely be fun. Go over there on Wednesday nights. We practice a little bit, but grew up as a kid watching that place run every week, and it'd definitely be fun. I think. See bigger cars back there and get out there. I've raced there in a 4-cylinder. My rookie year in a 4-cylinder, and it was pretty fun. So, to get the bigger cars, bigger horsepower back out there, I think that'd be cool.
How is your dad doing? I heard some challenges here in the last couple of days.
No challenges. He's too miserable to be to have anything wrong with him. No, he's doing all right. He's kicking, and he's looking forward to getting home this summer and do a little bit of racing with me here on this new adventure we got going on. So,
who's gonna get the hot lap the late model first? You or him?
Definitely me.
You said definitely, and then you hesitated.
Yeah, definitely me. I went out on my own 2 years ago and bought everything myself. So that was definitely something a little different. Usually my dad's owned everything, and I've done everything I could to help him and drove for him. And then I bought my first car from Carl Comfort, and it's funny. Me and Nick were talking the other night. I bought a complete race car with all the spare parts, race ready, for $5,500, and just kept wheeling and dealing. And we've turned it into a crate late model that is a really good piece. So I think I'll be the first one to drive it. I'll probably be the first one to rock it also.
There's no doubt there.
But, you know, I've told Kevin, Nick, Gibbs, I've told Paul, all these guys, I'd love to see these guys get into one of these and just see what they think. You know, most of these guys have raced the Sportsman sitting in the center of the car most of their career. So sitting on the left is something a little different for them. I want to see what they think of it. And, you know, we'll get them over at Paradise or get them at Canandaigua and see what they think of it.
It seems like out of the Guererri Racing group, you've got the most experience in cars with the seat on the left side.
Yeah. Me and CJ's got some pretty good experience, but I think I got a couple more years than him, and I don't know that anyone else has ran anything on the left side, you know, out of our Guererri Racing and Kevin, you know. So I think it'd be cool to have them guys get in it and see what they think. So
awesome. Well, we're coming up on 7:30 here, local time. I know the band's going to be taking off here pretty soon. They're going to be getting into some more door prizes. If anybody's in and around the area watching at home, it's right at the Elks Lodge in Seneca Falls, not too far away. Then we're going to be back here next weekend for your race party. We get to do all this all over again.
Yeah, I've always had my own, and we start at 5 o'clock next week. And, you know, we're just looking to have a good time and raise some money for the race team. And we don't have a ton of backing, but the backing we do, we appreciate, and can't thank everybody that does back us enough. So, you know, we'll set it up next week and see how it goes.
Awesome. Well, I wish you the best of luck there. Anybody that you guys want to make mention of here before we get out of here?
Nope, I think we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Other than the RC car racing there.
Well, yeah.
We should all be RC car racing tonight. So.
I know. I agree. There's 21 cars down there, and I'm thinking there's probably 20 cars here.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah, definitely.
But,
I was surprised to see that big of a turnout tonight down there, which is good, you know.
Rich Sharpstein's right now is fast time.
Is he? Nice.
Yeah.
You know.
Sweet.
He's going to be a real thorn in a lot of drivers' sides because he's got real fast, real quick.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So.
But Anthony Guererri picking up his first win at Twisted.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm happy for him. Like I've said to everybody, I think the kid's got more heart than pretty much anybody I've seen get into this hobby, you know. And, you know, he struggles, but he keeps at it, you know, and it paid off for him the other night. He had a good time, you know, and that's what keeps you in it, you know.
Yep.
He was very good on that flat track, the way that it was set up.
Oh, absolutely. You know, Kevin's happy for him. I'm kind of pissed. I didn't even know they were racing Wednesday, and I think, you know,
you live in a hole?
Yeah, I think Ant used that to his advantage, you know, to keep me home.
We were up buying parts, and Ant backdoored us and went over there and pulled one out on us. So
absolutely. You know, that's a ton of fun, and I'm glad we got into it, you know. So I think me and Ant were the first two to go with Kevin and actually see what it was all about, and Kevin let me run one of his cars, and it took off from there. So that's a blast. I'm glad these guys did that. Kept me busy, kept the wife off me all winter, and
it keeps the busting the chops going all winter long.
Oh yeah, that too. So
you don't have to wait all winter long to bust someone over something that happened.
Did you already interview Nick?
Yeah, Nick and Matt were both up here.
Okay, yeah, it's you know, I feel bad for Nick right at the moment. It's going to be a long off season with the RC cars, knowing he got beat. So,
but it's sounding more and more like this off season is going to have some stronger legs through the summer. We've had some really, really good response to that 200 lapper that we had at Radio Hill, and there are tracks coming out like crazy saying that they're interested in hosting them. So, without going overkill, because I know your guys' schedule is going to be absolutely loaded with the racing stuff. I know our traveling season with the live streams, with the Derby stuff, and we're trying to break into some more ventures with that live stream stuff. It's not going to be something that we can do on a quote-unquote regular basis, but the thing is if we can get a race a month or 2 races a month, something like that, I think that we could bridge this pretty successfully from March and carry it straight through something like the opening weekend of Radio Hill, and maybe have the season finale for the summer season be that opening weekend at Radio Hill.
Yeah. I mean, back before I started racing Sportsman, I used to race RC cars 3 nights a week, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's 4 nights. Sometimes we'd be, you know, at Radio Hill on a Saturday. Sunday we'd head down to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania and run down there. Monday night we'd go into Canada. We'd run in Canada, and Wednesday night we'd run at the Finger Lakes Livestock Exchange. You know, a lot of the tracks now are closed, you know, as far as those ones that I just named. But, yeah, I mean, we used to race those things all the time.
But it was just for fun?
Yes.
You drive all the way to Harrisburg
Yep.
for fun?
Yep. Every Sunday we'd go to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and race. There's a big bank clay oval down there. And like I said, we'd leave there, go home, get things ready Monday, and head to Canada Monday night and race.
That's the thing that I'm struggling with the most right now is figuring out the travel for everybody. Is do you want to put money out there? Do you want to put year-end money out there? Do you want to put just trophy races and stuff like that? Because it was, you know, it was rather expensive to put that 200 lapper on to make sure the trophy and the money and everything was in line. But there's all these drivers that are saying that they want to go do it, and I tell you what, the pit stop, doing the live pit stop, was so much fun to watch. I mean, it was a riot.
I'm glad it was fun to watch because it wasn't fun to do.
I tell you, at one point when Ryan was out there and he was the only car turning laps, you could see the color draining out of everybody that was on the pit box's faces because they heard it. And that was a mental game.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Well, there's a lot of tricks to those pit stops. You can get it done pretty quick. I'm not sure anybody tried them, but the next time you have one of those pit stop races, I'll show a few people how to, you know, pull out the tricks, and you'll see. It's pretty crazy.
It was entertaining to watch the different strategies, and no one practiced it. That was the thing that got me, is that with all the hot lap sessions that were available through the day, no one practiced it.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So.
In any case, more to come on that. Are you coming up here next Saturday? You're going to go to Radio Hill or taking the week off?
We're going to go to Albany. We
we
had a race planned, you know, from a while back. So we're going to go to Albany and race.
Race what?
We're going to race our EDM cars and our Mud Boss cars, and then we'll be back. We'll be back Sunday, and then after that, I'm not sure how much more racing we'll do before the big car season starts.
Right.
We got a lot of stuff to catch up on and stuff like that. But we'll try to do what we can. I know. I think this Wednesday we're going to go to the Twisted RC track there in the Auburn Mall, and just play around a little bit and have some fun, with the guys, and check that place out. I haven't been there yet. So.
I sent that guy a Facebook message today. He said this Wednesday they're off, Kevin.
Oh, well, fantastic.
So you stay home and we'll go.
They're closed for me.
They're closed for you, yes. You and Terry. Yeah.
I felt so good when we went to practice there last Tuesday because the car was acting funny and I was able to take it to the pit box and I knew what I had to focus on. I felt like I actually belonged there. I was able to change it and do a gear change and went back out there and the car was handling pretty good. And then Anthony brought his car out and then I decided that, it was a reality check. It just reminded me exactly where
you stand.
Fall.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun though. So Twisted, gaining momentum. What's the race in Albany?
It's at Full Throttle. I can't remember. That's some March.
Oh yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
I can't remember the exact name of the event, but it should be a good turnout. They've got some. I think it's a trophy race there too. I'm not 100% sure, but
cool.
Yeah, we've had it planned for a while. I like to get away to different tracks every once in a while and just try things out and just see some old friends. Again, I was in it for so long. I've made so many good friends in the hobby, and it's hard to stay in touch with them. So.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, Frank, you're running off. I know you want to get out there and enjoy the party as well. I think we're just about hitting the limit of what we got on Finger Lakes 1 tonight. But Kevin, for everybody that came on as a guest of the show, I appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us for a little while.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Time. I appreciate it.
That is that's going to wrap it up for us here at the Guererri Racing Party at the Elks Lodge in Seneca Falls. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us for the evening. And we look forward to catching up with you on the 31st lap coming up this Thursday night on Finger Lakes 1. Thanks a lot.